What's going on, good people? All right, welcome back to another episode of the We Got Y'all podcast featuring Ray and Rich. Um, Happy to see y'all. We're covering season 2, episode 5 of Winning Time from HBO. And again, this week's title is Hamburger Hamlet. Kyron, what's going on?
Not too much, man. It's good to be here with you, of course, talking about winning time.
For sure.
Feels like we just started, and here we are with 2 episodes left after this week, which seems
Right.
a little bit insane. But obviously excited to continue the conversation with you. Damn, I forgot. I knew I meant to talk to you about something off mic, and that is the fact that I finished They Call Me Magic.
I mean, you didn't call me, so I was gonna
Because I did not call you because I knew I was going to record with you today, and I wanted to see your face.
okay.
We don't necessarily have to get into it here since this is a winning time podcast, but after we finish recording, let's make sure we have a brief conversation about that. All I got to say is Magic. It's a motherfucker, man. Magic was on some like some shit that I was just like, damn, bro.
I tried to tell you. I tried to
listen,
tell you.
I'm not going to belabor the.
It's going to be a better story than this dramatization.
Yeah. And I'm not going to belabor the point, but it definitely leaves me wanting to know more about them being together or not together, however you want to call it.
Yeah.
And I mean, Cookie is still beautiful today.
Yeah, gorgeous.
But I'm talking them Michigan State days, them early Lakers days.
Mm-hmm.
Magic was out his mind,
baby.
I've never seen Magic with one woman that could hold a candle to Cookie.
Ain't that usually how it goes?
Cold. Yeah, you're right. It's usually how it is. Like Cookie, if Cookie had Ray P's ego, there's no chance that Magic would have even ever had a shot, because she would have known I'm too fine for this. What are you talking about?
Period.
I'll go find another. Who's your rival? If it wasn't Larry Bird, I'm gonna go get with him. If it was Dr. J, I'm gonna go holler at Dr. J.
Okay.
Just to make a point, just to prove my petulance. Because she could, anybody she wanted. My goodness, Cookie. Yeah. To this day, like I said, but even back then, it was ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
It was ridiculous.
I told you.
You were right.
It's a crazy, crazy, crazy story. And to think that I probably would have taken a lot of that to my grave, or just let the show be the show. I have a real embarrassment, but yeah.
I mean, I admire that honesty. Maybe that's because of where they are. You know, they're in their 60s and wanted to tell their story the way they wanted to and had control of it. I guess that had a lot to do with it. Mm-hmm. Because I'm sure at some point there was probably a point in her life where she was like, I'll never tell anybody this.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, we'll get into Winning Time. But I was just, if you haven't watched it, it's on Apple TV Plus or Apple Plus TV. I forget the exact name. But very good 4-part series. A lot of the stuff in Winning Time they do cover. But a lot of the personal side of things, they don't. So if you want to get a little bit more into that, then by all means, check that out. But yeah, here today, episode 5, like I said, Hamburger Hamlet. Before we get started, I do like to send a reminder that there will be spoiler alerts. So if you haven't watched the episode, please make sure you do. Obviously, if you're watching the show, this is streaming on Max. A few details about the episode is directed by Tanya Hamilton. Written by Max Borenstein, Jeff Pearlman, and Jim Hecht. And this show is based off the book Showtime, written by Jim Hecht. And shout out to this incredible cast. Mm-hmm. Synopsis for this week's episode is superstar Irvin Magic Johnson and Coach Westhead clash. Team owner Jerry Buss orders Jerry West to pick up the pieces. Rachel, I'm very curious to know your thoughts on this episode as we get rolling into it.
I love this episode. So what you guys may or may not know is one of my favorite things is getting people together. And I feel like
I wish everybody knew Ray P the same way I know Ray P, because you know 100% she's telling the truth.
So I loved it for the fact that Magic was getting bussed together. Mm-hmm. Kareem was getting bussed together. Coach was getting all of them niggas together. I love it. I love a good.
You better call him Coach before he gets you together.
And now we'll really have beef. No. But yeah, no, I loved it. I love this episode. It was a good pace. And then considering we're more than halfway through the season at this point, since we only get 7 episodes. So I'm very curious. And I still don't quite know what year we're in. If we're in a new season or a different season, I'm unsure what's going on. But I'm excited and I'm here and strapped in for the ride.
Nah, I feel you. So just to help you out a little bit, and all the listeners out there as well, we are still in the 1981-1982 season.
Okay.
So in reality, Paul Westhead, which I know we'll talk about, he gets fired after 11 games.
Mm-hmm.
So they start out 2-4, and then they go on a 5-game winning streak
Right.
before he meets his demise from a coaching standpoint. So this is by the end of this episode, we're at the end. You know, we're seeing Boston lose to the Sixers.
Yeah.
The Lakers are already ready to go to the finals, just waiting to see who they're playing. Mm-hmm. And it does hype up the whole aspect of this season, Boston versus LA.
Yeah.
You know, that's why I think why they're skipping through 82 and 83 so quickly, because their first clash in the finals isn't until 84.
Okay.
Even though there are some championships won, we saw Boston briefly win theirs in 81. We'll see the results of this 82 series, I'm sure, next episode. Mm-hmm. But it's all about Boston and LA, and that's what it comes down to. So that's where we are with things as far as the real timeline. I think this might have been it's in consideration for my favorite episode this season.
Okay.
Yeah. The intro was pretty hard to top. I think episode 1, episode 2 was very strong as well. But for everything you said, I do appreciate, especially in a team environment, when you get people together and let them know this is what you have to have. You have to put all of your ego and your selflessness to the side when you're looking for that bigger goal.
Yeah.
And you need the right person that's going to come in and recognize this is an issue and put it all to bed.
Right.
And I think Coach Riley was a perfect person for that after he realized that he was being viewed in a different manner than what he expected. So he put his foot down and let the world know for the most part. So I appreciated all of that. I did have one question I meant to ask you last week. Very brief, very light. What did you think about the Jack Nicholson character? And obviously, we know Jack is the super LA fan, but they had a Jack Nicholson lookalike kind of actor in last week's episode, and I thought he played it off pretty well. What did you think about that?
Oh, I didn't think anything of it at all. Even before I saw the Krypton saying, you know, Jack Nicholson, I was like, oh yeah, that's probably Jack Nicholson.
Yeah, I just appreciate them paying homage to a lot of stars that were around in the 80s, back when Showtime was really kicking off. And everybody says it. I grew up around or knowing the Staples Center. You know, that's what first year it opened. Kobe and Shaq won their first championship. And obviously plenty of years it's renamed Crypto.com Arena, but the Forum was the place to be, according to everybody. So I just appreciate that, them bringing that to life and showing those stars. And you got to have Jack in there. So that was pretty dope.
You have to. It made me think, though, if I don't know that the Knicks were ever a rival to the Lakers type situation, but even if there was something in their garden, because I don't want to do TD Garden, but in the garden, and there's like a Spike Lee-esque character on the sidelines or something like that, I would think that would be dope too. In the same vein of that celebrity fanship, you know, on equal playing field, you know, or equul levels.
Yeah, no, I think that you're exactly right with that. Those are the two. I think you got Spike and you got Jack. Yeah. Everybody else is kind of just there. Those are two of your biggest markets, and it's a real thing. So this episode had a lot going on to be 45 minutes. So we have a lot of areas we can get into. Obviously, the big one is going to be Coach Westhead and his demise. But where do you want to start as far as the conversation goes?
We can start there. I mean, I think the episode flowed really nicely. It was good to see Paul's family. Did we see them in season 1, his wife and daughter?
No, we saw Coach McKinney's family, but I don't believe we saw Paul's.
Okay, got it. So we can start there. I liked seeing them. I liked that the daughter knew that nigga was about to be fired. And this isn't a recap episode, but starting, you know, there is the entry onto the bus, and we see that tensions are still high. What did you think of Kareem sort of taking Paul Westhead's side?
It made sense because I think it goes into Westhead's behavior.
Yeah.
From a 2023 lens, it's kind of insane, right? For us, we know how this game goes.
Mm-hmm.
So for him to have as much confidence and disregard for his job even being in jeopardy, back in 81, 82, that made sense. Coaches still had that power. I know we talked briefly about it last week, but coaches still had power. You weren't firing a coach.
Yeah.
You know, you get paid, if you're an athlete, you get paid $300,000 to play a kid's game.
Yeah.
As we know it today, shut up and dribble.
Yeah.
Like, do your job, take your money, buy your riches, and call it a day.
Mm-hmm.
Kareem comes from that old school mentality. You know, he came in the league in the 60s where it was like that. He's the most popular player and the best player in the league, and he doesn't really have much of a say. So to see, might have been a little bit of envy.
Yeah.
To think that, I could have done it this way. Obviously, he did kind of force some way out of Milwaukee to go to LA in the first place. But that was pretty much it. So we have a system now where we see in season 1, Coach McKinney brings in this run and gun offense. I'm at the back. I'm lagging. You know, I'm in my 30s. I'm not trying to run with these young bucks.
Yeah.
Now we get back to highlighting me. I'm the centerpiece of the offense. I'm the guy, you know, sky hook. Let's wait for me, dumping in the whole nine. Westhead is playing to my advantage. Of course, I'm going to want it to stay this way. And Kareem also saw what was happening. Like, the less you talk to the media, the better. You might not understand that, but I understand that. And if you want to keep your job, let's make sure we go this route. So I think as the captain, he was trying to show the rest of the team, this is the pecking order. This is the proper pecking order, regardless of what some young second-year player has to say about it, or third year at this point. Yeah, so you don't see that from Kareem's personality. I think that was the most shocking part. He's more of a, you know, walk on the bus and don't say anything. But that's his guy. That was his guy, and he felt that everything's catered towards me. So why not? After Magic got this attention for the first couple of years, let's get it back to me.
For sure. For sure. Very interesting. And they kind of panned the camera to the rest of the players, but I really would have liked to overhear, quote unquote, a conversation or whisper, or for real whispers between the players, like, this motherfucker, especially when we saw that they still kind of weren't really fucking with Irvin when he got on the bus. And, you know, he looks at the camera and says, "Oh, you thought I was going back down? Absolutely not." And I know that I said that we would start with Paul, but this might be my favorite vision or display of Irvin Magic Johnson in the entire series so far. Just because it's really the first time we see him be dominant other than on the field. You know what I'm saying? Be passionate, stick to his grounds. And I think, I don't want to say he has a speech impediment, but there is something about the tonal quality of his voice and the way he talks that sometimes they make him seem a little dopey, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I get it.
He was authoritative, and those habitual B's were not misplaced at all. I would say that. It was good. Go ahead.
I agree with you. That is, it takes me back to season 1. I may be a rookie, but I ain't no bitch.
For sure.
Coming from so obviously you and I being the same age, Magic's been famous since we were born. And we know Magic, the businessman and everything like that, more than the player. We didn't really see him as a player too often. He retired when we were in preschool, minus that small comeback in like 95, 96, whatever year that was. But his image has always been the megawatt smile, happy-go-lucky, charming, get along with everybody kind of guy. And earlier to our point, that documentary, I think They Call Me Magic, did a pretty good job of showing the difference between Irvin and Magic. And that was a real thing. And he was authoritative. Yeah, I said it right. And there were a lot more moments in his career that people probably would be surprised at, where he did put his foot down and did check teammates and did use words other than, you know, because Magic doesn't publicly cuss these days. He tries to watch his words for his image, but he was quick to hit somebody with the fuck you on. I'm not playing for that motherfucker. Like, that's how he felt, and that's what he said. So I appreciate it, especially the Dr. Bus scene, which we'll get into. But I love the fact that Magic knew, I'm the one that has the power. I don't care what y'all say or how I'm looked for it, because if I got to, well, anytime you're first, you're always going to be the one to catch the heat. So very, very well appreciated. could have easily been like everybody else on that team and fell in line. Cap said, because everybody had issues with Paul. So as soon as Cap get on the bus and say something, everybody be quiet. They chant, yeah, Paul's our guy. Ain't that right, fellas? Yeah, sure. Fuck, we just last episode, man. Fuck this dude. A genius, right. Shit. He a school teacher.
And Paul loved that.
Mm-hmm.
He needed that. It was affirming for him. But that was detrimental to me, because you affirming his bullshit further delays his understanding that he is in the wrong. And I'm not saying that Magic is not wrong as well, as to which Coach Riley, Coach Riley, sort of alluded to or verbatim said, in that locker room scene. But Paul was so oblivious and so key to the fact that you couldn't possibly be about to fire me, considering what this dumb athlete is talking about. He basically called him a childish bitch ass nigga. And
yep.
It felt like there would be no pushback or nothing for that. No retribution. Like, it is what it is. We'll get this a couple days and we'll be back to normal. Absolutely fucking not.
He could not comprehend the idea of him being fired for two things. One, they're paying me too much, which he told to his daughter. Mm-hmm. And for two, on a 5-game winning streak. Where they do that at? Like, who fires somebody that's winning? And I got a ring on my resume, regardless of how y'all say I got it and whose system I use and whose players, blah, blah, blah. I'm pretty nice with this. So there's no way. I'm sure I can see how he thought there was no way. But I love the fact that Pat Riley was outside of that bus like, yo, have you talked to Magic?
Right.
You got to get ahead of this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You too, Pat? Come on now. Like, I'm disappointed. I thought you knew this is how I was going to go. And Pat told him it doesn't work like that. I'm telling you. The same way you said he's not going to pay me all this money to can me, he's not paying Magic all that money to can him either. So you got to be able to recognize that.
And it's significantly more money. So
significantly, yes.
Yeah, I don't know. There is a thing about having common sense. Paul Westhead ain't had no damn sense. As smart as he was, book smart, no sense. A tale as old as time. And for his wife and daughter to kind of be like, yo, you're going to get fired. And I can't believe you're not seeing this, but I'm telling you, they're going to fire you. And even still then, only after finding out about the meeting and this, that, and the third, that he kind of be like, now, wait a minute. Maybe there's something. And even then, could not fathom it. Crazy.
Yeah, antennas up. It goes about personality. Could you imagine that being Pat Riley and him finding out about a meeting? Like ASAP, he would have stormed in Buster's office. He would not have been stopped by the secretary. No, I'm talking to this motherfucker right now. I don't care who he's meeting with. He could be on the phone with President Reagan. You know what I mean? I don't care. We need to talk.
Well, maybe the Pat Riley we see at the end of the episode. I think the Pat Riley at the top of the episode is letting Bertha stop him.
No, that's the point. Yeah, good point, good pool, because that's what I meant. The actual authoritative Pat Riley, Coach Riley, not Riles. Riles wouldn't have, because he understands deference. He understands where his place is in the pecking order. But once you give me this leadership role, I'm going to go full force with it, and I'm going to make sure everybody knows what's going to be done and who I am as a person. So I love that scene at the Hamburger Hamlet, because his daughter, as I said, 2 months into college, and she's like, bro, what's wrong with you? Like, you think if it's between you and Magic, they're going to choose you? Like, what world do you live in? Like, as she said, Magic is more famous than Rick Springfield, who sings Jesse's Girl and all this other stuff, big 80s pop star. But Magic is on the scene. He's here now. Like, why do you think that you were going to survive this? And he's just so oblivious. It's frustrating almost.
It's extremely frustrating. And I've said it probably every week. You see what money make a bitch do. Paul Westhead is not the Paul that we met, carrying Jack McKinney's jockstrap. He's just not. Or maybe this was always him, but because he was always in the shadows, He never could, spread those wings and puff out his chest. But if I'm Coach Riley,
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking like, what the fuck? And I know that he basically got his shot because of Paul Westhead, but to me, they should have been having significantly more intense and intentional conversations about the change in Paul's behavior, demeanor, coaching decisions, and what was going on. And candidly, we saw that he wasn't really listening to Pat after a certain point. But I would think, because again, not only was Pat with him the whole time on this journey, but he's got the ring via playing. He
Mm-hmm.
played in college. He's always been someone, he understands the mechanisms of the organization, of the sport, of team dynamics better than anybody. He's such a resource, and your ego has you completely shitting on the person that was sent to help you. Like, that's crazy.
Insane, man. It just lets you know that Paul Westhead realized that he was an outsider and got this once in a lifetime opportunity to be inside this exclusive club. Not only just be a coach, but I'm a coach of the Lakers.
Come on.
This historic franchise, and I've had some success. I won a championship ring with them. So yeah, I'm at the point now where it's my way. Like, I'm running the show. This is my shit. Like, I'm empowered. I'm the boss, as he likes to remind everyone. Versus Pat Riley, Coach Riley, who there's always going to be that different respect level. Episode 1, you so discreetly discussed the party and knowing about the party.
Yeah.
And it's like that too, man. If you ain't been to the party, don't talk to me about the party, my nigga. Like, I don't care. You know what I'm saying? If you're here or not, like, you just can't. We can't have the same conversation. I've been there. I've done that.
For sure.
Pat Riley, I've been there. I've done that. I played. I've coached. I've done all of this. Not only did I coach Adolph Rupp, terrible human being, shitty person, extreme bigot, extreme racist. However, legendary coach. He's been around the eye and the mind. His dad, not a great human being, but he had his 12 at bats. He had his time in the big leagues. He knew what to do. I've seen that, and I don't see it in you, bro.
For sure.
I'm trying to be, and I know Riley is a decisive character, a decisive person, but he kind of was a little bit more mild-mannered than he could have been. I think he really could have went in a lot more and put his, directly went to busting, like, I'm the guy for this job. But he tried to let Paul, do his thing despite of him being in his own way.
I think that Coach Riley has his father on one side, his father and Coach Rupp on one shoulder, and his wife in his ear on the other shoulder. And I think we saw in the season 1 that she was a therapist or a psychologist. So she has probably unpacked quite a bit of his childhood trauma and, maybe things that happened that he didn't like while playing in college and throughout his professional career. And so I think Pat, or Riles at this time, was really trying to find his footing and balance between the two. No, I don't want to rule with an iron fist and I'm your friend. And I think that he really struggled with that. But I was really surprised that just because of who he was, even then, even though we know he's, Pat Riley now, but just because, we just kind of read his resume, I'm surprised that there wasn't a bit more deference for him, because he's been y'all coach the last 3 seasons or 2.5 at least, and even though I know you were a chicks guy with the sissy voice, their words, not mine. we know all of this, but I'm just surprised that they were just treating him like he was still kind of, I don't really want to say the water boy, but
they did. That's exactly what it was. They treated him like
the clipboard and not a coach.
Yeah, this is still blue collar America back then.
Right.
So to a lot of people, the only reason you hear is because this English teacher wanted you to be. You guys happen to have offices, across the hall from each other at the forum.
Mm-hmm.
Came to some liking amongst each other when Jack was out and you needed a little bit of help. You
Yeah.
can go to Riles and he can give you some tips and some pointers. So when it was time to have an assistant on the bench, I'm going to go to this guy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anybody looked at it as you earned your, you coached in high school, and then you got a college job, and then you were an assistant, and then you became a head coach. There wasn't that trajectory.
Mm-hmm.
So I think a lot of people were just looking at it like, oh yeah, that's Riles. He cool. And it hurts being the cool guy sometimes as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Oh, he the cool guy. I can talk to him. I can vent to him. Sure. Imagine I can get some one-on-one workouts with him and really tell him how I'm feeling. But I don't necessarily see him as anything more than that.
Yeah.
Because everybody loves when the substitute teacher comes in. We get to act it ass.
Right.
And that's how they treated Riles. That's how they viewed him.
So. Very much so. Very much so.
And he learned quickly that he has to put his foot down, as I mentioned earlier. And I really hope that we get a lot more of Chris, his wife, because Chris plays a big role in Coach Riley's coaching career with the Lakers. I mean, she was the quote unquote bad guy when it came to the Lakers, and not the players, but just the behind the scenes stuff. When Coach Riley didn't want to be as demanding or be so forward with changes he thought should happen, songs that are played in between timeouts, small stuff like that. Chris was the one going and doing that dirty work for him, going to the offices. Hey, here's a playlist. You guys should go from this. You guys should do this. Like, so he didn't come off that way. He can kind of keep that. Oh yeah, I'm the cool, laid back Coach Riley. You can come to me with anything, but he's really pulling his strings. And
got it.
I've talked about it before. At some point around 85, 86, Coach Riley does turn into his dad and does rule with an iron fist. So I'm really excited to see how that plays out. But the genesis of this and everything, how he gets the job, is always fascinating. So yeah, I
thought it was. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I thought it was dope during the press conference, which was completely chaotic, for Coach Riley to give Westhead his props. He was a friend, and it showed that he was a stand-up guy, even though I'm motherfucking pissed at you.
Right? No, I get it. Let's hold off on the press conference real quick.
Okay.
Because that is still to this day the most chaotic, insane, bizarre sports press conference in the history, I'd say, like to this day. Okay. But we have to talk about just Paul going to Dr. Buss's office. Obviously, the energy is off, and just the writings on the wall. And I don't know how many times we need to say it, but Paul being the last one to realize that he's out of there. And that awkward silence of Dr. Buss just kind of, why you're here, right? He doesn't say it, but he kind of lets him say it. And I love that whoever speaks first loses. And he's kind of sitting there with the cigarette, looking at each other. And Paul just starts explaining himself. Lets him know, we letting you go, man. Like, I don't know how else to say it. We appreciate you. You can pine for your job all you want to. Yeah, you got a ring. This is my team. You're not getting it done.
Paul really didn't think he was getting fired when he walked into that office. He looked at Magic and said, I still believe in you.
Ain't that something?
Okay. Are you crazy?
He's out of it. He's out of it, man. He should have known as soon as the secretary stopped him. And as soon as Chick Hearn comes out that room saying 10-1, I bet he don't last the day.
Yeah.
You look on the chalkboard, you got other coaches' names on there. My man's, you got to know what, start packing.
He just couldn't believe it. He couldn't fathom or felt like he had a fighting chance to change Dr. Buss's mind, even though he didn't. I gave him a shot. I don't know what you want me to do.
The last thing I have to say about Westhead is, I guess, the final scene between him and Pat. Because when I tell you, if it wasn't for the expense of having to buy another television, I would have thrown something at my TV when he looked at Pat and said, "Why didn't you stop me? My nigga, I've been trying to stop you for the longest. I told you on the bus before we even got back to LA, I told you need to get in front of this.
Nigga, I told you at training camp. He's been trying to stop him the last season and a half. Like, motherfucker, what is going on? I wasn't gonna throw something at my TV, but I did sit up and say, what the fuck? This nigga has no sense. He's completely oblivious. And if I did try to stop you, would you have listened? Like, really consider what you're saying, because I've been trying to stop you. I've been trying to guide you. I've been trying to help, and you don't want it because you know better, because you're the boss and you're the leader and it's your team.
I gave you game adjustments, and I come in your office, you sitting on them.
Come on. How disrespectful.
You know what I mean? Like, I put my time and effort into something. You cracking jokes with your new guy, your new assistant.
With your yes man.
Yeah. And that's where your yes man got you. Your yes man got you packing up your boxes. I can't appreciate, last thing before we get off, Paul, in that same scene, I can't appreciate the small amount of humility that he showed, apologizing to Pat for messing up the chance for him. And Pat even still trying to play it off. I'm like, nah, I guess you did. Like, I wasn't trying to shit on you even more, but you did mess it up. And Pat was gracious enough, as we saw in the press conference as well, to acknowledge that, you gave me the shot. Even if you're taking it away, you are the one that kind of put me in this position.
Yeah.
Regardless of how things going down, regardless of how I feel about you now, I still got a certain respect for you in that sense.
Did they remain friends, quote unquote?
Yes, they were still friends. Like I said, a lot of the stuff that we see, as far as their tension, might not have been as direct as the show.
Okay.
Says it, but they were friends. And that press conference was a real thing where Pat said that. He said it was a sad day. Paul is a friend. And they did stay friendly. I don't know if they were in each other's weddings or anything like that.
Yeah.
But there was some kind of professional respect amongst that ranks. I think if Pat had it his way, he wouldn't have been the coach. And he's a worker. We know that about Pat. He's a hand in the dirt, get it done. You eat what you kill type of person.
Yeah.
And the idea of him being handed this job, I don't think set well with him, but also I just became head coach of the Lakers.
Right.
That's something that just doesn't happen. So I think there was that mixed feeling of, all right, well, shit, it's my show now.
We're going to see. I didn't know that Pat's father was also a coach. I don't know why. Maybe I thought that he was he worked in a steel mill or something. Like, I felt like he was big.
I'm sure he did after the coaching stint didn't happen. Because he was a manager in baseball, and he would coach some minor league teams.
Got it. Okay.
And there was always that promise. The team would call, say, "Yeah, as soon as this opening comes up, you're the first person in mind," and those calls would never happen. Like they would tell him, and it would never happen when the opportunity came, and he would finally get his shots. And obviously, that's what the depression, the drinking, and all the whole nine. So he saw that firsthand. Like, this is my 12 at bats. This is my opportunity. Like this, my dad kind of worked his whole life for something like this, and here I am with the opportunity right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, his wife does a great job of like having that conversation with him as well, and letting him know like you're the man that you wish your father was when you were a kid. Even though you want to be like him right now, that's not really what you need and what needs to be done. So
okay.
So yeah, man. Dr. Buss, as an owner, I can appreciate where he's coming from. He doesn't want to have this coaching carousel. He doesn't want this spectacle of how can I win but can't keep a coach? You know what I mean? Why does there always seem to be some kind of drama? Let's handle it in-house. He wanted to do the right thing, but I think the things that make him great are the things that show his flaws.
Yeah.
He is too easygoing. The fact that he even thought that there was an option of keeping both of them on. The conversation he had with Bill and and Jerry West about we're not changing coaches. Magic's going to come. I'm going to meet with him. Even that meeting with Magic, him telling him like, you're going to apologize to the press. I'm going to tell everybody you're forgiven. Forgiven, my nigga. Calm down. You know what I mean? I still love you like a son. Bringing my dad into it. Like Dr. Buss was, for all his, like I said, great traits, this wasn't his strong suit. He didn't want to make people uncomfortable. He didn't like firing people. He didn't like making those kind of changes.
Let me ask you, you said easygoing. Was that easygoingness or naivete in thinking that he could keep both Paul and Magic?
I think both things can be true.
Okay.
I think Dr. Buss is too smart to not realize the issue that was there, but I also felt that he didn't know how deep it was.
Okay.
That's kind of like being that. Go ahead, go. My bad.
No. I could see that, not realizing how deep it was. It felt like another example. You just talked about how smart he is of book smarts and a little confidence lacking. And I don't know if you were going to lead into it, but I would like to talk about the conversation between Irvin Magic Johnson Jr. and Dr. Buss in the
probably my favorite scene in the episode.
Okay.
Outside of Coach Riley getting them together at the end, I think this one just had a little bit more depth and it showed a different dynamic of the Magic Dr. Buss relationship. And just to your point previously, you know, Dr. Buss wasn't, even though he was famous, you know, most owners are in the background. You know, you might know who they are, but not know much about them. You know, you have you look at Jerry Jones with the Cowboys. You look at Dr. Buss, both very famous owners. You know exactly who they are. Completely different ways of handling things. Dr. Buss, I just want the riches, the spoils of my riches.
Yeah.
And all this excitement. I want the championships, but I'm going to let the people that I hired do their job. Whereas Jerry Jones is, I'm the GM. I'm making the decisions. I'm trading players. I'm cutting players. I'm telling coaches what to do. I'm very hands-on, which can be suffocating at times as well. So, yeah, he just had no idea of how to actually operate a team and still be happy in a sense. But let's get into it, man. Buss and Magic.
It was very, I don't even want to say interesting, but it was a scene that I could not take my eyes off of. I talked at the top of the episode of loving seeing this more dominant, authoritative version of Magic. It was the first-ish time, because maybe I saw it in the episode with inviting Norm to the house. It was that made me think that Dr. Buss really ain't who I kind of thought he was.
Okay.
Or showing himself to be typical white man and and that was very intriguing to me, because even though, yes, I know here is this man with a multi-millionaire, ladies man, hella kids, team owner, this and the third, but he felt different to me because, you know, he really got it out the mud. You know, we talk about people being essentially self-made. He is one of those people. And so I felt like him bringing up Irvin Sr. was wild as fuck. And it was like, damn, not you. You know, that the meme of New York Tiffany Pollard, like, not you. That's how I felt when I saw that scene. Because, like I said, it was kind of the first-ish time where I felt like, damn, you ain't really down like I thought you were. You know what I'm saying?
100%. 100%.
I know that he has money invested in Magic and all of these things, but it was very manipulative. And Jeannie kind of, you know, I don't really want to say alluded, but Jeannie kind of said that too. Like, I know he couldn't control you, this and the third. He probably tried to manipulate you, guilt trip you, this, that, and the third. And I was like, damn, this motherfucker is crazy. And I guess unless you win the lottery to amass such success, you kind of got to be a little bit of a piece of shit or asshole. So.
Yeah, I love that you brought up the Jeannie point, because she knows, once again, the Jeannie Dr. Buss comparison. She knows her dad like a book. She knows exactly what his tactics are, what he has to lean on. Even when he got upset with her at the ring, about the ring last episode, like, let me know when you wake up on the wrong side of the bed. Yeah. His anger is never anger, more so than disappointment.
Yeah.
Masked is trying to gather some understanding. But there's always that subtle, whose team? This is my team. He always likes to remind people that he did it to cap this episode. That scene with Dr. Buss and Magic was more about Magic to me.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, you made some incredible points about Dr. Bus and how you viewed him. And I just like the symbolism throughout. You get Magic being snuck through the back door to avoid the media, avoid the press, and know what's going on. And in the words of Ray P, you got to stand on that. Magic said, "I told you, bruh.
Yeah.
Like, why didn't you come to me?" Oh, Magic was ready for everything that he had.
For sure.
Why didn't you come to me? I did come to you. I did talk to you. Well, we said we was gonna talk about. Nah, nigga, you said we was gonna keep an open line of communication. I told you, as the person out here leading this team, I told you I'm not playing for him anymore. Like, it's not gonna work. Like, it's just not. And like you said, you know, we partners, but I'm a silent partner, right? Same reason I'm coming through the back door, because I can't be, you know, I can't be a part of management as you're fearful for. Excuse me. Told him that he needs to put out that statement. Told him that he needs to tell him that, you know, this was just something he said out of anger. You ain't hearing me. Like, you still ain't hearing what I'm telling you. I'm standing here in your office face to face, letting you know I am not playing for him. So do what you need to do. If you need to call some teams to trade me, do that. If you need to fire Westhead, do that. But I'm letting you know we got a game tomorrow. He didn't say it, but pretty much on the lines of, I'm not suiting up. Like, you got a decision to make, bro, right now. Feet to the fire. You can't bullshit this one.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. He really wasn't hearing Magic. He didn't hear him at the house. And literally until this moment, it's probably the first time he heard him. And that was a little, I don't want to say disheartening, but it was a little bit disheartening to me because, again, I'm your favorite son. You know, I'm all of these things, and we keep talking about this relationship that I have. And it's so much so that I can speak to you and talk about your fucked up ass family and you sticking your dick in every Jane, Margaret, and Jenny. I don't, Jennifer, not to be confused with me, you know, moving about the world, and you trying to come at me. You want to talk about what the fuck I'm doing or not doing.
It
was tough.
Yeah, because here's the bad part, right? We're known. We've been guided to like Dr. Bus. Very likable person in real life and on the show. Extremely likable person.
Yeah.
So when he does things that come off a little bit sideways to us, it throws us off too. Like, damn, I didn't even know you had to see Dr. Bus, because there was some very triggering language. You mentioned him bringing up Irvin Sr., which we got a little bit of that in episode. I think it was episode 1 of the series, in season 1, episode 1, when Irvin Sr. was upset. Like, you going back and forth about this $650,000 contract. That's more than I ever made in my life, seen in my life, man. I wake up every morning, work multiple jobs. Like, you low-key being disrespectful. And Magic telling him, like, this is my way. So you bring your dad into it. You telling him, I made you a multimillionaire?
Crazy.
Like, that's very triggering words. What you mean you made me a multimillionaire? Like, I'm the best motherfucker on this team. I've been nice since 15.
That part. You ain't doing this because you love me.
Right. Like, I'm Magic regardless of if I wear a Lakers uniform, if I wear a Bucks uniform, if I wear a Bulls uniform, if I wear a Knicks uniform, I'm still Magic. Anybody, anywhere I go, they giving me this bread because they know I deserve it and I'm the one.
Right.
So I don't want to hear none of that made me shit. And it kind of made you realize, like, Dr. Bus is a little bit out of touch with the reality of things. And there's that mentality. You know, the owners of the team.
That's what I was about to say.
And, you know, this is here's your money. Do what you need to do. Do what you're told. But nah, bruh, I'm not standing up for that.
Not shut up and dribble.
Yeah, shut up and dribble. I'm paying you $25 million. I can't believe you're acting like this. How dare you not be more gracious? That I just made you a millionaire 25 times over. That I just extended you when you still have 4 years on your deal. That I take you out to all these fancy places and I treat you like my son. How dare you come out and kind of go against me in that way? And Magic was like, nah, it's deeper than that. It's bigger than that.
It's
like,
deeper
fuck
than
the relationship. If it's deeper than rap. Like, if it came down to it, we can cut off the relationship, the personal shit between me and you.
Right.
We can get back to owner, excuse me. They call them governors now because of the whole Donald Sterling situation. But But we can get back to that relationship. I can be the player. It's easier for me anyway because the whole team hate me. You know what I mean? Because they think I'm part of management.
Right.
But you ain't about to sit here and tell me you gave me shit when I've been busting my ass since the day I've been born to reach this goal.
For sure.
And I'm nice, man. We don't shine shoes. I don't shine shoes no more, bro. Like,
Boy,
you owed me that $25 million. And ending that conversation with, I bet you hear me now, in the same way he subtly came through the back, he abruptly, and boldly went through the front. Like, I'm not hiding shit no more. Yeah. Fuck what you talking about. Love that shit from Magic, man. I
loved that for Magic. I love that scene. Like you said, one of the best scenes in the episode.
Oh. Because what else are you going to do? And Magic understood that as a 21-year-old. Mm-hmm. You will be the craziest person ever if you get rid of me. Ever. It might be a little bit different, and I'm talking about very slightly different had I not already won a championship.
Yeah.
But I came through as a rookie and won a championship and a finals MVP. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You want to compete with Red? You want to compete with Bird? All right, cool. Good luck. Keep Westhead, keep Cap, keep this bullshit offense. You won't even get a chance to see them niggas in the finals.
That part. In line with this conversation, what did you think of Cap's conversation with Dr. Buss at the skating rink?
The completely opposite side. The side that understands. So here's the thing. I really do think that there is a part of Cap that maybe looks back at his career at that point in time and realizes, damn, I had more juice than I thought. I could have been doing a lot more shit than, if I really wanted to and calling some shots. Now I'm kind of on the tail end of it. Still very good, still very elite, but I have more years behind me than I do in front of me.
Yeah.
And first of all, don't try to have a serious conversation with me at the skating rink.
Oh, right. Let's be for real.
Like, let's be for real. Like, because I'm not taking this. I'm not fucking with you. You know I'm not fucking with you. You know this is a sit down type of thing. I've already canceled a couple meetings that you wanted to set up with me and push me back. So to come up at the skating rink and kind of just give me this game, like, nah, bro, you think I understand everything you got going on. And I know that deal's bullshit. You know it, I know it. In 5 years, that's going to be the average. In 10 years, he's going to be working for free damn near. So don't play me like that. Like, we know that it's about you picking a favorite and then trying to act like it ain't that. I think Cap would even appreciate it if he just came out and said, yeah, Magic is my guy. But you're still a big part of this team, which he kind of did in a sense.
He's like a son to me.
Yeah, but that's not how sports work. That's Correct. Just very taboo, so taboo for it to be like that. And Cap was just kind of, he knew his place, and he knew at the end of the day, how much do I want to argue? Because you've proven now to me, to the media, to the team, to the rest of the NBA, that Magic is the one calling the shots. So what's the purpose? Like, I think there's a part of Cap that really believe I'd rather go to a team or a franchise that run things the way I'm used to it versus knowing that if I piss off Magic, even though I'm fucking Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, that I can be out of here because I'm not, I made your favorite son upset.
Did Kareem end up leaving? Or he stayed? That's what I thought. He retired a Laker.
Kareem retired a Laker, yeah.
That's what I thought. And that's not a spoiler, guys. You can Google that.
Yeah. Google, all this shit is factual.
That's what I thought. And so when that nigga looked at him and said, I couldn't figure out what was keeping me from signing the extension, and it's you, my chest kind of caved in a little bit. It was like, God damn. But again, I love getting folks together. But Buck's catching it this episode, ain't he? Not undeservedly so, but it was a lot. And again, we know him to be this cool, sort of easygoing, this, that, and the third kind of guy. But also consider the 80s, even if you're not quote unquote racist, this, that, and the third, but like getting checked by these two black men.
Yeah.
in the way in which they did it, very similar, but also very differently, had to be like a mind fuck from him. Like, what the fuck kind of Twilight Zone am I living in? What have I gotten myself into with these fucking players? Very
Yeah,
curious.
man.
What Kareem said wasn't wrong. And I'll say that too. You know, the shit he was saying, his argument, his beef, warranted.
Yeah. And it's a call back to me to that conversation that Kareem had with Magic Irvin Sr.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Just the generational gap, the differences.
Yeah.
Even look at their trade. They both made trade requests.
Mm-hmm.
People don't look at Kareem's like a trade request because he said he did it so differently than Magic.
Right.
He put the idea out there. You know, the Knicks. He specifically, and this is why it wasn't just some blanket statement because he mentioned the Knicks.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know their fans will love a player like me. Their franchise will love a player like me.
Mm-hmm.
Not directly coming out and saying it, but I'm saying it. Like, if shit goes south, I can say fuck your extension and just bounce back home. Or Magic comes out directly and says, nah, like, get me up out of here. It's either me or him.
Yeah.
So yeah, that part's very. It's a lot of generational. A lot of this is the new wave. And Magic really started a lot of that as far as the player empowerment. Like I said, it's kind of comical to look at now. Because everybody knows in today's age, the coach is out of there. Easy. You just didn't do that back in the day.
Easy.
Yeah, you just didn't do that back in the day. I want to talk about Jeannie real quick.
Yeah.
Because I know we still got to talk about the press conference. We got to talk about Pat. And I want to talk about Jeannie and Honey. Mm-hmm. I thought last week was the one that was going to upset me the most. This week might have been a little bit worse.
I'm on Honey's ass, man.
Like on her head.
Ass, Mr. Postman.
I'm at her top.
Baby.
Like, almost to the point where, like, stop talking to me. Like, I'm ready for Jeannie to just hit her with the stop talking to me. Like, don't speak to me.
Because you're antagonizing me. And you really could just leave me the fuck alone. Intentionally blocking me in so I can't leave. Honey, you live here. Come knock on my door. Why are you bothering me? You take it easy on your dad. I'm not bothering this motherfucker. He bothering me.
His two favorite girls.
People don't be knowing their place. And I know that he's allowed you to take over and become the queen of our castle, this, that, and the third. But Honey is out of line so much here. And when we first meet Honey, she's at a fucking farm or with some kids. Like, you've changed, quote unquote. But again, you see what money make a bitch do. So this humble, meek and mild life, and I'm just peace journey, da 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 da. That shit is because you ain't had an option to be a boss bitch again. And now here it is. And now we're seeing the character flaws. Now we're seeing that she's not all peace sign, sunshine, and raindrops and gumdrops. You know what I'm saying? Like, dare I call her a bully because she knows Jeannie can't step to her and talk to her the way that she wants to because of the relationship, because how close she is to her father and not wanting to further disappoint him. Like she said, we're getting married. Bitch, I know I picked out the ring. Are you my choice for my father? Absolutely fucking not.
Right.
But here we are, and I really can't get you together the way I want to because of my father and how much I revere him in our relationship. But he doesn't see. He's just an old man getting some young puss.
Mm-hmm. Ugh. I think my biggest issue with Honey is the same reason why this is probably one of my favorite episodes of the season. Mm-hmm. You alluded to it earlier, just authenticity and transparency. Mm-hmm. Let's cut the bullshit and let's say what we all mean in this whole regard. Honey, to make a crazy cross reference that a lot of people might not get. Rachel, you will for sure. Honey's very much so like Miles in House Party 2.
Okay.
Where you act a certain way and your image is coming off a certain way, but behind these closed doors, when you're talking to me, You trying to flex and you being real petty with me, and I don't really like it. Like, it'd be one thing if you was this way around Dr. Bus too, then that's cool. Let's get it all in the open. But you like you said, you trying to block me in. You calling me Gene Bean, getting very familiar.
Very familiar.
Putting yourself in the same category as me by saying his two favorite girls. Like, you just got here. You just got here. And I said it last week. If you can go tomorrow and I'm still gonna be here. I'm not replaceable.
That part.
I'm unfireable. Like, I'm always gonna be around.
And R.I.P. if Jessie was still alive, you would not be here because she would have called your shit and got Jerry, Dr. Bus ass together so quick. Like, I see you. I see you. And Jeannie, she is like her father. I think she's like her grandmother as well. I see you.
I love that pull that you just made, Rachel. I don't think it can be stated the significance of how different things will be going if she was still alive, still with us. A lot of these decisions would not be going on. And we've already talked about it. I think the whole reason Honey's around is because she's not here.
For sure. For sure.
So, yeah, I even her telling her, you know, I'm getting married to, I know I picked out the ring. It was kind of like a little subtle dug too. Like, this nigga don't even fuck with you enough to pick out a ring enough. Like, he left it to me.
Right.
Regardless of his reason, you know, you a girl, you know, you like what you, nah, man. Like, if I'm getting married, Kyron Richardson, if I'm getting married, I'm not leaving the ring to somebody else.
Right.
I'm picking that ring because that's personal. That's intimate. This is what I think about you. This is what I feel. I chose this ring for this reason. I never want the reason, you know, whenever that day comes, I never wanted to be, why'd you pick this ring? Oh, because my homegirl thought it was cool.
Right.
What?
If you ask for help, like, do you think the final decision is still going to be mine?
Exactly. Exactly. You know, I want to be able to specifically tell you why, you know, anything that I do, like, it always should be that kind of feeling to it. So I think Jeannie gave her a little dig that. I don't even know if Honey knew that.
Yeah.
Her trying to give her the smoothie. Like, I've shown you over and over and over again, I do not fuck with you. I don't care about your smoothies. I don't care about your little pep talks. I don't care about none of that. I don't care about you telling me that your apology goes a long way as far as my siblings. None of this is your business. Like, I don't even know why you're here.
Not business. It's
like,
not.
I don't even know why you're here. So, you know, I picked out the ring. I know you getting married. I'm off that. Whatever. Y'all do what y'all do. Move your whip so I can slide to work and do something productive.
Period. Because I don't have time
to
see movies. I have to get to work.
Yeah.
I have to actually be helpful to my father.
And then also the scene with Magic and Jeannie. I know we touched on it a little bit earlier, but her just telling him, like, look, he plays a dad role to me as well as boss. To you, he's just Dr. Bus, the owner.
Yeah. I
love the fact that you stood up because that doesn't happen to him. And everybody, there's nothing better than somebody that needs to get checked. And finally, somebody comes along finally to do that. It's not like it's just a random checking. Like, Magic knew his power and his position. That's another reason why I love that scene. He knew, I'm going to hold my nuts and you can't do shit about it.
And because you've blurred the lines of what our relationship should be, I can speak to your fucked up ass family. I can speak to the deficits or deficiencies that you have as a man, this, that, and the third, that these other people won't because they're scared of you. And I ain't no bitch. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm not afraid of you. And again, I think if the relationship was a more traditional owner-player relationship, then maybe I don't come out my chest and my mouth and say that, because I think if he had the mindset, to your point earlier, of what Kareem's experience has been with ownership and leadership, front offices, this, that, and the third, then maybe Magic isn't as comfortable getting Paul fired, speaking his mind, checking the shit out of Dr. Bus. You know what I'm saying? Because I will be forced into a more, or forced to have more deference for you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And that's a great point.
I'm talking to you like you my fucking uncle, like you my daddy, like you're somebody who I have a different relationship, who is not truly, truly my employer, because you made our relationship personal.
That's an incredible point, Rachel. Magic, now that I'm looking at it, yeah, you're absolutely right. Magic is the one confused.
Yeah.
Because you set up this relationship to be this way. And I thought we was really in this together, Dr. Bus.
Yeah.
I thought we were really partners. I thought it was me and you.
Mm-hmm.
And now you telling me something else. Like, nah, now you making me come out. I didn't want to have to talk to you like this.
Right. Because when I came to your house, I'm coming to you on the humble at your home where we cool, where I feel like I can express myself because you open the door for that to be our relationship. So I'm telling you, man to man, chest to chest, but you're worried about me wanting to fuck these bitches and not the business of what I'm talking about, businessman.
Right.
Franchise owner.
Straight up. Very good point. Very good point. We have two major things that I think I still wanted to discuss. And we can start with whatever you want. I want to talk about Pat the coach and him coming to that realization that I'm running things, and we also have the press conference.
Let's end with Pat the coach, since that's pretty much how we end anyways.
Yeah, for sure. So, press conference.
Chaotic as fuck. That's what I wrote down. I'm like, this shit is chaotic.
I said, and I love the fact that the show emphasized, yes, this really happened.
This happened.
100% factual. I think they had to put that disclaimer because it almost seems y'all did this for, the dramatization. There's no way they fumbled it like this. And I mentioned earlier about Dr. Bus, the same things you love are the same things that he's flawed in. You can't fire a coach and then not have a plan for how you're going to explain this to people. Like, that just doesn't make. This is the most. If you sports teams to this day look at this as how not to run a press conference.
Yeah.
Anytime there's a big decision being made, they use this press conference as a reference as to how should we roll this out, how should we explain this, because we do not want to be like Dr. Buss and Jerry West and Coach Riley up there in a very awkward situation.
Let me shoot Dr. Buss some bail for the first time this episode.
Okay, then let's go.
He thought that Jerry was the one. And so because he chose Jerry to be the coach, to also, let me pause. Yes, the press conference has been called, this, that, and the third, but I genuinely believe that when he woke up that morning, he wasn't firing Paul. So the press conference was initially to say, everybody's pieced it up, this, that, and the third. We're cool. We're moving forward. And now that my hand has been forced, no, there's not somebody in the wings. So I call on Jerry West, who allegedly hated coaching, this, that, and the third. And we see him have the flashbacks and damn near an anxiety attack about even considering becoming a head coach again, because he hated it. It was the scene like, are you going to start working with the players again? Like, hell no, I hate these people, Yeah,
he really did. Yeah.
Situation. And so walking into the meeting, once the other guy is like, the press is getting crazy, he didn't know that Pat was going to be the guy. Because in his mind, it was still very much Jerry West. And so for Jerry to walking into the fucking press conference door to be like, nope, it's him. I'll be working for him. It's Pat. It's not me. So of course, I'm motherfucking blown because one, I don't even know if Pat can do this job. I don't know. In his mind, Pat was probably fired with Westhead, just like the other yes man. You know what I'm saying? So I think that he was just caught completely off guard, as to which was Paul or Pat, Coach Riley, excuse me, and essentially Jerry West, because what the fuck? I don't want to do this shit. I don't want to talk to y'all no more. That's why I came out of this rolling position, so I could be behind the scenes, minding my fucking business, handling player business. That's it.
Nah, that's real. And
I'm gonna shoot is that he truly was confused as fuck.
You know what? I'll give you that. I'll give you that, and I'll give Dr. Buss that, because, and the main reason is because till this day, there is no clear record of that conversation. Somehow, some way, and this is all this is in the Showtime book and everything. Neither one, obviously, rest in peace to Dr. Buss. He passed in 2013. But even until that time, there was no clear idea of how those wires got crossed.
Yeah.
Because Dr. Bus left that meeting that we see in this episode when he's on his knees begging Wes to coach. Dr. Bus left that meeting with the understanding that Jerry West said, yes, I will coach your team.
Uh-huh.
Jerry West left that same meeting with the understanding that I will help you find a replacement. I might assist that replacement, but I'm not being the head coach. And when Dr. Bus went to that press conference, he was fully under the impression, like he was shocked because he thought in his head, we're on the same page. You're going to coach this team. For some reason, whether he wanted to hear it, whether he made it up in his head, he heard Jerry West tell him yes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're absolutely right. You got to give him a little bit of grace in that sense. But I also love Jerry West knowing, and that could have been a part of this whole plan. Like, sure, we're going to get up here, but I'm letting everybody know I'm working for Pat Riley.
and with.
Some for and with.
Yeah.
And he did have that moment where he pulled Pat to the side. I think they showed it on the podium here. But in real life, he told him, you're the fucking coach. Like, you're the guy. You're the one. I'm here. I don't want to be here for long. I think he initially said maybe a week or two.
Yeah.
But I want to get back to the front office. I do not want to be on the sideline with this bullshit. He really did hate coaching. It just wasn't in him. Like, he was a decent coach, but he just didn't have the personality for it. He didn't know how to temper expertise. Like I said, him and Norm Nixon got into it all the time when he was actually coaching him.
Yeah.
So it would have been a disaster. Very interesting with seeing Paul Westhead walk out, see the future. Damn, man, my spot being taken. And obviously you said what?
By my guy. Hey, it should have been like an aha. It's a full circle moment because this is how Pat felt. I mean, Jack felt when you took his job. I brought you, and now here it is. You brought Coach Riley on.
Perfect. The best quote in that series or in that scene was Pat saying, sometimes it takes a left hook to get you going.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it was for the whole franchise. It was a left hook.
Does Paul Westhead coach anywhere else after this?
Coaches the Bulls the next season.
Okay.
I don't think he coaches after the next season until like he comes to the WNBA back in like 06.
Okay.
07. He wins a championship with the Phoenix Mercury.
Okay.
WNBA. But as far as prominent NBA coaching career, absolutely not.
Okay.
Like I say, he coached the Bulls in 82, 83. And I don't even think he coached them past that. I think it was a one season type of thing. Like he is, I know we joke about it, but my man's really is an English teacher.
Yeah. He's
teaching Shakespeare, man. He's not a basketball coach. Like he's not any of that. He's probably one of the, I don't want to say luckiest guys because, I think you all earn a little bit of keep, but yeah, he stumbled into the opportunity of a lifetime and it wasn't meant to be for long, but he actually, carried it on.
Yeah.
So let's see. The Bulls, 82, 83.
Okay.
Then he coached college from 85 to 90, Loyola Marymount. Then he coached the Nuggets from 90 to 92. Then he coached George Mason College from 93 to 97. He was an assistant with the Warriors. And then he got into his WNBA bag and some off-brand leagues. He was coaching the Long Beach Jam, the Panasonic Super Kangaroos, shit like that. So he took some time in and out.
Okay.
And ended his coaching career in 2014. He was Oregon's women's head coach in college basketball for 2009 to 2014.
Oh, okay.
But nothing that outside of that Phoenix Mercury championship, nothing where you was like Paul Westhead's being considered for the next coach of this, that, and the third. Okay. Like he got that Bulls stamp because of his success with the Lakers, but this is it. This is the end for all things considered.
Damn, it'd be like that.
I know, man. Crazy, man. Sometimes you in a moment of your life and you don't even know it.
That's it. Life will humble the fuck out of you, won't it?
It certainly will. It certainly will. And now that Pat is introduced as the co-coach, defensive captain, however you want to call it, we see the chance that he actually gets that interim tag taken off and he becomes the actual head coach. And I think that the scene between him and Chris and the scene in the locker room were very pivotal moments for him.
Yeah.
Obviously, Pat was the completely opposite of Coach Westhead, where he had enough self-awareness to know what was up. He knew, like, they like me. They don't respect me. Like, I'm not – it's not everybody tighten up dad's home. It's like Big Brother just came in.
That's it. I mean? That's it. You an uncle.
Yeah, you uncle. Like, you know what I mean? It's all good. Like, your uncle uncle always pass you the 40 at the barbecue. Like, take a little sip. Don't tell your mama. Like, take just a little sip. That's just how it is. That's just how it is, man. And him coming into Dr. Buss's after his, they won the first game, go on a losing streak, goes into Dr. Buss's office, knowing that I should be fired. Bill lost his voice, damaged his vocal cords. Dr. Buss said, look, and honestly, if it wasn't for the bullshit, maybe Pat would have been fired. But Dr. Buss was tired. I ain't got time for this. I ain't got time to look for nobody, especially in the middle of the season. It's off season. That's one thing. Can you do this?
Yeah.
I'm going to give you that same empowerment that Paul always came to me looking for. Like, get this shit figured out. I'm not going to get in your way. But if you want to last past this season, get this shit figured out. And that's all he really needed. Like, all right, cool. Like, maybe I do deserve to be in this position. Maybe I do deserve to belong here. Maybe this wasn't given to me per se. Maybe I did earn it, and I'm not giving myself enough credit for the work that I put in throughout the years. And you got players complimenting his wardrobe. You got Landsberger talking about some of the fellas going to get beers after the game. Like, you don't do that to your coach.
You don't do that to your coach because
I think he recognized it.
Yeah,
everybody asking for personal favors. Like, hey, Coop doing this, Wilkes is doing this, Cap is doing this. Like, bro, why you coming to me talking to me on the side like I'm not your head coach?
Because they know that this nigga be having side conversations and private workouts and this, that, and the third. So
set himself up for it, huh? Set himself up for it.
You set yourself up for that. I didn't think about it to this very moment.
That's a good point. And that's such a hard thing to do. To set yourself to present yourself as one way and then switch it. Once people are used to you in a certain light, that's kind of what it is. So you switched up on me.
You are. Yep.
Same way Dr. Buss was kind of looking at Magic. Like, damn, you done switched up on me. I thought we was good. Like, nah, I think I got to tell you what time it is.
Let me ask you this. So Pat has his come to Jesus moment in the locker room. I'm not sure if they were up or down at the half or what, but how much of that conversation was reminiscent of the conversation that Paul had with the team once Magic was out? Cap, where are you? Y'all motherfuckers ain't doing shit. Y'all want to do all this talking, but y'all not playing. You're not playing like a championship team. Y'all are bullshitting and blaming each other. So to me, it was like, damn, is this a pattern with these things?
It's all about that messenger. Right message, wrong messenger always works. Sometimes I might need to hear it, but I don't want to hear it from your ass.
Yeah.
And I think that with Pat showing that fiery side, that's something that was believable. With Westhead, it was, you need more people. We don't believe you. We don't believe you. We need more people.
For sure.
It was never, you can get hostile and get in somebody's face like, nigga, get the fuck out of here. Like, Riles, you felt like if it came down to it, I'll throw hands with you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He just kind of had that fire, and he kind of demanded and controlled the room a little bit more and had that respect. So there's nothing that you can, I don't think there's anything that people respect more than honesty, even if they're in the wrong. Just knowing that if this is how it is, at least it's across the board. And now I know how to move. I know I can't bullshit without being called out on it.
For sure.
In a team setting, and that's the best thing that you need, because
face-to-face, man.
Face-to-face, man to man, because we're still engulfed in the favorite son theory. We still got Magic calling shots. So why would I want to say something about Magic in public? Because I'm shipped off to Golden State tomorrow. If that's the case, I'm off to the Clippers. Like, nah, Pat, this is how we're gonna do it. There's too much. The reason y'all let him win don't got shit to do with X's and O's. Y'all doing this bullshit right here. Y'all bickering, y'all beefing, y'all excuse my language. Y'all too pussy to come to each other and say, I got a problem with you. Let's talk about it and work it out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're doing all this behind the back stuff. I'm in the same locker room as you, but you come whisper over my shoulder instead of talking to the person that's right there in his stall in order to iron this shit out. Like, that's a problem. And I love the fact that Coach Riley recognized that and told everybody, if there's anything that needs to be said, we do it here.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear no kind of leaks. I don't want to hear about anonymous sources. I don't want to hear about none of that in the paper. Like, we bury that shit here. I don't care if y'all need to throw hands. We can get boxing gloves. Y'all need to go in the room and work it out. You can work it out. But what happens in the locker room, which goes across all sports, happens in this locker room, stays in this locker room. That's law. That's a sacred place. And him laying the law down at that very moment lets you know what type of time the team is on. We see those wins racking up.
Yeah.
Best record in the East, Western Conference champs. We getting ready for another finals appearance. Now we got our guy. Even when he was trying to wing it and say, he said out his word, let's do it like how I'm doing. Let's wing it. Yes, we're going to go back to Jack's way. We're going to run. We're going to play loose. I don't know how it's going to work, but we're going to figure it out. And eventually they figured it out. No backdoor bullshit.
No backdoor.
Got to respect it. Got to respect it, man. Even Mr. West, man. No more of this wild shit. I'm coach.
That's it. Because Jerry West, he too was still treating him like, even though I chose you to be the guy, I'm still kind of the guy too, high key. We saw that with him in his bench coaching. You know what I'm saying? So I like that Coach Riley commanded that respect even from him. So
look at me. Yeah,
I'm the captain.
I'm the captain now.
Yeah.
Got to. Somebody got to take reign, especially in those. It's easy when this is the trying to think of a lesser team back then. Seattle was pretty good. Let's use the Clippers again. Back when they were still in San Diego, it was easy when it's Clippers, the laughing stock of the league.
Yeah.
Nobody cares. The Lakers, everything is under a microscope. So you got to have the right person to be able to lead that group of men and to put all the bullshit to bed.
Right.
So it kind of came at a perfect time, man. And Jerry West is the logo. 14-time All-Star, NBA champion, a Laker through and through. Played with him, coached for him, GM. To be able to look at him in his face and tell you, we was teammates, and that's another good thing. Yeah. They had that relationship. It's not I'm coming in like, oh, that's not Dr. West, but that's Jerry West. Oh my goodness. Nah, nigga, I was on the same team with you, bro.
Yeah.
A lot of the points you scored, I set the picks to make sure you was open.
Yeah.
Like, I respect to you. I know what you've done. You're a better player than I'll ever dream of. It's my show.
Got it. Okay. And we see at the end of the episode that the Celtics do not make it to the finals.
Tricked it off. They tricked it off. Lost to the Sixers. And the hate for LA was so real. Even if we ain't the ones going, beat LA. Beat
them. That was crazy. That's crazy.
It's a real thing, man. People, that rivalry was so real, like to the point where the enemy of my enemy is a friend.
There is no ball. I will never root for Michigan.
That's like me rooting for Duke in basketball. Like, there's never any kind of situation. I don't care who's playing them.
Yeah.
Who Duke is playing. I'll never root. There's never, ever in life, ever. Couldn't even fathom it.
I will never root for the Wolverines or that
That's
team
why
ever. So for y'all to be that emboldened and impassioned might not really be a word, but to be that passionate about hating the Lakers is crazy. Yes, it's still beat them motherfuckers, but if I have to choose to root for them to win the national championship, or if for whatever reason the Buckeyes didn't make it, I just would still have to root for the other team.
Yeah, you one of those. My favorite team is the Buckeyes and whoever's playing Michigan.
That's it.
Like, straight up. That's why I don't make those jersey bets with people.
Yeah.
Like, when people want to be like, oh, let's bet the game, loser got to wear the other team's jersey. I'll never wear a Duke jersey ever, even for play. I don't care. Never do it, man. And I guess the last thing to highlight, obviously Dr. Bus got married, but the one thing that I wanted to point out in that scene as they're watching the game, the Eastern Conference Finals, and they're seeing Boston lose, you're normally excited. Hey, we got things on track. We're going back to the finals. We got another chance to compete. There was no joy in that because everybody knew this shit don't mean anything. It's not Boston.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. We won the championship. Like we're gonna acknowledge it, and we're
We
going
already
to
beat the Rockets.
yeah, or the Sixers. We beat the Sixers first year, so we got to play them again. And yeah, it's cool. Whatever. We want Boston. It's kind of like one of those things where you call the other team. You know what I mean? If I was Magic, I'm calling Larry. Hey man, I did my job.
Yeah.
Why you fucking up? You scared? You don't want to play?
Yeah.
Like you got to give them a little bit, add a little bit more fuel to the fire because that's what it is. They disappointed every time throughout this decade when they didn't play each other in the finals. It was disappointing from the other side. Because yes, we can win this ring, but it don't mean shit if it ain't against Larry and the Lakers. I mean, and the Celtics. So we're getting to 1984 slowly but surely. We got 2 episodes left. I know we have to end this season as we started in 1984, but I am looking forward to how we fast forward. Next episode, I think, is going to be a whirlwind.
For sure.
I think we're going to open up with knowing exactly who won the 82 finals and what happens in 83. Spoiler alert, neither the Lakers or the Celtics are a part of the 83 finals. Okay. No, I'll take that back. But whatever. I'm not going to say what happened. But 84 is what we're really shooting for. 84 is what we're really, really shooting for. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to these next 2. And I'm more so curious to see the timeline. I don't know if episode 7 might be extended.
Yeah. So we need a 65 minutes. No more of this 45 minutes.
Yeah, we do. Because there's so much. And like I said, if your focus is Boston, LA, then I get it. I'm cool with skipping over a lot of this other stuff, but with this being the first one, you can't just limit it to 50 minutes. Like, let's get the story, let's get all into it. So I think that's pretty much all I had as far as this episode is concerned. Did you have anything else, Rachel?
No, that's it.
Cool.
Well.
Well, before we get out of here, I guess it would be nice to let people know where else they can find us if you do want to hear more content. Rachel and myself are co-hosts of the Culture Garden podcast, which is a film podcast. We release episodes every single Thursday. Our link tree will be in the episode description, so check us out there. There's a couple other podcasts that we're a part of. We'll talk more about it, but Culture Garden is where you can find both of us. We'll highlight ourselves more on that pod, but we want to stick to everything TV here. We're excited to finish up these last couple of weeks. Rachel, you want to take us out?
Y'all be cool. How y'all be cool? Peace out.
Peace.
Bye, guys.